What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all very much. As always, happy Friday to you all, and I hope everybody's doing outstanding. Let's take a look at the horoscope for today. Well, it is Sun at 10 degrees of Sagittarius, so it is conjunct the fixed star Antares. This is, it brings a little bit of malevolence, but it brings a lot of strength. It brings a lot of perseverance, and especially with Saturn in trine to Saturn, I think that's kind of the name of the game on this Friday, especially with a moon here in Aries. It is making trines, of course, to the sun today, which is very nice, but there's definitely a Martian quality to this Venusian day of Friday that's, I don't know, people could get very pretentious about beliefs. People could get, it has potential for a little bit of violence, for a little bit of combative energy. But at the same time, it's also extremely prevalent, and you can prevail forward in your life with stories, beliefs. This is definitely giving us a more like, if we think about Antares being the heart of the scorpion, like the fixated kind of passion to move into a story that we want in our lives right now, and that we're trying to create, and that we're trying to build with people, and that we're trying to understand. And, of course, Mercury's coming off the square to Neptune. It's hard to understand everything exactly as, it's like, gosh, there's this big story unfolding, but, it almost doesn't make sense, but we're going to prevail. That's the crazy part, right? Like we're going to prevail. And the moon in Aries, there's a lot of fire in the chart, and I would say soak this fire up, of course, because Sagittarius is the last time we do get a lot of fire until we come into Aries in the spring. So yeah, I would just, definitely use your passion, use your desire right now to proceed forward with your story, and use that today to really initiate things that make you feel like you're in alignment with yourself, that you're in tune with the direction that you intuitively feel is powerful to you, and that is expansive to you. And the moon's going to meet with Chiron, so it's sensitive. It almost feels like there's this like, yes, there is this persistence and dedication, but Mars is retrograde dispositing this moon with Chiron. It's I just feel like we're at a place where there can be fears and doubts, and really there's nothing to fear or doubt. Like, you just have to act intuitively, even when things don't make sense, or we're trying to discover this long-term plan on this journey. And it's like, well, all we get is the present moment. Like, we don't know what, the next day is going to bring. So today's definitely a day to stay present, to be, I would say, mindful of what your true inner desires are, and to proceed forward with those things, and connect to that energy, and connect to the people in life that are expansive in that area with you. And, you can feel what doesn't want to go forward any longer. And you definitely, you'll feel like I didn't do enough for yourself if you don't, say something or do something to kind of let the universe know that you want to go on this journey, on this story. So it's an interesting Friday where I think there's so much that wants to be communicated, but it's almost like you can't find the words to express it, but there's an inner knowing, and there is a lot of power here that's like trying to unlock secrets. Archangel Uriel is Antares too. It is very draconic, but it is also one of the archangel stars, and it's Uriel, and he held the secrets, and he was left out of a lot of sacred texts because he knew the secrets to the future. So deep within yourself, you do know the secrets to your future, and you have to kind of have that sharpness and that almost a ruthlessness to dispose fears and to move passionately for the belief in yourself and what you're trying to make grow and expand, and to understand that it's a feeling right now more so than a mental knowing. And I think if we can be okay with that, then we're getting a lot of help from the moon here, saying, yeah, act on this journey, act on these beliefs. You don't have to hold yourself back, because in the end, that's all we do to ourselves in many ways, is we hold ourselves back by saying, oh, making up stories about what somebody else would want or what somebody else is going to say or think or do. We just don't have the answers to that all the time. Like sometimes we can intuitively get it right, but we can be shocked a little bit here with Saturn and Mars in trine and in these air signs, and Uranus, of course, at 15 degrees now, which 15 degrees is a very auspicious placement for Uranus because it semi-squares the moon when it comes into Aries, but it semi-squares the 0 point of Aries and the 0 point of Cancer, and these are very foundational, pillars, these cardinal points in the collective. So we're definitely in an interesting place collectively where we can start to see a lot of things. Uranus will break things down in weird, unusual ways, and especially dealing with, I would say, finances, food, physical access to things. It's interesting looking at the Taurus side of where Uranus is at. But there is an acceleration to get us out of situations and get into better situations. It just doesn't always look like that right in the beginning for the collective. So it's very interesting just thinking about this position of Uranus. And it is this second pass with a retrograde. And it's going to be here for a little while, of course, as it retrogrades back to, I believe, 13 Taurus, 1456. So yeah, it really is stationing right on that 15 degree mark. So, gosh. And Uranus doesn't come direct until February, I think. Late January. So, yeah, it's a very interesting time collectively. But again, to keep it more for today, this is definitely where we're kind of having to revolutionize our physical situations in unusual ways that don't make sense, and to trust the power within us that we do know the secrets to the future, even if we can't necessarily maybe put words to it right now, or we're definitely maybe seeing, some kind of, or it feels like there's violence. There's definitely violence in the world, but it feels like maybe there's violence in the personal life that's kind of keeping you from a story right now. Today has a little bit of that edge, but it also has such a powerful gift for us if we're kind of ready to understand all the wisdom that we do have and to put it to use and to act intuitively on whatever that may be for you. It's a very growing and expansive time, but it has to be acted on, and there's a little bit of a fear, I would say, to do so, because there is combative energy in the chart, right? And of course Venus is still in opposition. It is separating from Mars, but there's and this is where Mars, is starting to come back to where Venus retrograded in 2012 and in 2004, where it did eclipse the sun, and also in 2020. So this Venus opposing this Mars is very, very interesting. And of course, the sun's getting ready to oppose that with a full moon on December 7th. There's just a lot. There's definitely a lot we're moving forward into. But how do we act on what we know? Because Sagittarius is the I know, without being too dogmatic, without being too, almost like religious about something in our life, but to be mutable, to let things change, and to keep kind of going through the changes, because that's the journey. Like, there's just change within the journey. And to have that warrior kind of quality within us, I think, is very important right now. I think we're all feeling like there's a lot of change happening right now, and it's just like, where's it going to go? Muster up that strength, and muster up that identification of knowing your wisdom and knowing that your intuition is the key right now. The linear thought is just not easy. And of course, we're starting to see Venus make that square over to Neptune in Pisces as well. So there is a little bit of that uncertainty, or just the fogginess, or, having, big hopes and ideals around situations with people or money, or thinking that we do know exactly where this physical reality is going. We don't, I'll be honest with you, but to be identified with yourself and your belief, and to, really liberate and free yourself. These are the days, and especially today, I would say that like it's very liberating if you're willing to muster up that and keep going forward with what you know is your big truth in life, and you know to be able to hopefully do that harmoniously. So, all right, what's the cards for this Friday? I'm definitely feeling interesting this week. It's been a weird week for me, I'll be honest. Trying to understand it hasn't helped, but I think I know what's up. So I will say that you're not alone if you are feeling similarly. Ace of Swords in reverse. Gosh, feeling like we can't just take that knowing and that download and that understanding of where we want to go and kind of pull the sword from the stone and, take our power and really use that power to initiate in life. We're definitely feeling like we know there's beginnings taking place, but it's hard to cut ties. And that's kind of the interesting part about this Mars retrograde is we're going to see by March 24th when it does come out of Gemini, but even into January 17th, I believe, when it comes direct, that there's a lot of truths that have changed in our life, and we still have to press forward with the new truths that have prevailed. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Well, this is definitely the, especially getting this card reversed, this is definitely pay attention to what you're putting your energy and effort into. Do you feel like you're going to get a good payout? Do you feel like you're going to get a good harvest from it? If you don't, that's a clear sign that it's probably not where the big journey that I think the universe and God's trying to put you on, but, something that's just kind of overly routine and mundane that is actually kind of stagnant and there's more. So pay attention to things that, especially aspects with reality and what you feel like you have to do, or just job energy kind of, because it is about the work that we're putting into our life right now. Make sure that you're putting your life force into life that you feel like is growing and that you're going to get the return that at least you can believe is there. Maybe it, doesn't have to be just linearly perfect, if you will. But I do think believing that, and at least finding satisfaction, I think is a big thing too. And we got the Two of Wands in reverse. All reversals again. It's almost like I just keep a deck, all reversals, but I don't. We're in that place. It feels like there's two roads we can go on here, and like, which one do we want to skip down in life? Don't stop yourself from skipping down the direction that you feel passionate and connected to. There might be tests that show up today that give you choices to act on something is the direction you want to go in and that is going to show up in a better way. Acknowledge that feeling and, go for it. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Friday. I'll see you all for the weekend forecast tomorrow. Much love. Peace.